Everyone, good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So we have been discussing on the root locus problems, and we had completed quite a lot of problems. So this was the problem discussed in the previous class. Have you all completed this problem? That is k divided by s into s square plus 2s plus 2. So you have to plot the poles and zeros, and you have done that. So you can just go through that problem. We have also gone with the asymptotes, and we have calculated. So just go through that problem. Okay, so you just go through that. We have got the answer for that. Asymptotes is 3, number of asymptotes is 3, and centroid also you found. The centroid you got it as you got it as 0.66 minus 0.66. You got the angle 60, 180 and 300 degree. You have drawn the asymptotes as well as the poles. All these things, centroid, everything you have completed. Once you did that, further on you moved on with the finding to find out it is symmetrical. You have wrote the step 7 that it is symmetrical to real axis. After that, you have found the breakaway point. So where you got k is equal to minus s cube minus 2s square minus 2s, and dk by ds is equal to 0, you differentiated that. So you got s is equal to minus 0.66 plus or minus j 0.471, and you have found the value of k at this point. So you got this value. So all these things we have completed in the previous class. So since k is complex, you can say that s is equal to minus 0.66 plus or minus j 0.47. There are no breakaway points. Okay, as well as step 9, we are going to find the angle of departure, and so we have to find phi d, and also we have taken the pole minus 1 plus j1. So this is what we did in the previous class. We have to continue that. So as I have told you, we can plot the poles. We can see here. Now we are here to find out the angle of departure. So as I have told you, so from step 9, let me discuss further. To find the angle of departure of complex poles, phi d, the angle of departure for s is equal to minus 1 plus j1, and other, so you have poles and zeros, and this can be evaluated to find out the angle of departure. So when we go ahead with finding out the angle of departure, so draw this figure where you have the poles being represented here, and you have phi of P2 as well as phi of P1. So these things we are going to see that. Okay. So we will be further concentrating on phi of P2 and phi of P1. So from the figure, it's clearly clear that phi of P1 will be 90 degrees. So let us calculate phi of P2. So phi of P2 will be 180 minus tan inverse of the 1 by 1 it will come. So that all those things you know how to do it. You have been studying that before. So you can find out this entire angle is 180 degree, and if you remove this portion, you get this angle. So that is 180 minus tan inverse of 1 by 1. So this is also 1, and this one, this here also it is 1. So it is 1 by 1. So you get it as 135 degree. So you get it as 135 degree. So you can you got phi of P1 and phi of P2. So once you get phi of P1 and P2, you just complete it. Then we will proceed further. Here, this was the first problem where you have come across the angle of departure. So just go through these steps. So when we got the angle 90 and 135, you have the equation. We have already wrote the equation for phi d. Phi d is the angle of departure, and we have already written the equation for phi d. That is, we know that the equation for phi d is 180 minus summation of phi poles and summation of phi zeros. So this is the equation for that. So when you substitute, when you start finding out these values, summation of phi poles, we have already poles, there is no zeros in this problem, so we don't have to worry about zeros. So we are not worried about that. We have poles here, and we got the corresponding angle for pole 1 and pole 2, that is phi p1 is 90 degree and phi p2 is 135 degrees. So summation of phi poles means you have to do phi of p1 plus phi of p2, because you have to take the summation of that. And for the zeros, there is nothing to worry about that, so you don't have any zeros in this problem. So summation of phi zeros is 0. So you finally end up with the equation by substitution, that is 180 minus phi p1 plus phi p2 minus 0 is, then we solve it, you will get it as minus 45 degree. So what you got here, the angle of departure, you got it as minus 45 degree. So you got angle of departure for minus 45 degree, for which pole you got this for, you are doing it for S is equal to minus 1 plus J1. So this is what you have to do it. You can just make a note of these things, figure and a few equations here where you can find the angle of departure, and you can get it as minus 45 degree. So all of you got minus 45 degree? So you solve it, so you will get it as minus 45 degree. Have you got minus 45 degree? So this angle minus 45 degree is called as the angle of departure. So this angle of departure and all we will do when you have complex terms, and you will complete it. So let us try going with the angle of departure of the pole when S is equal to minus 1 minus J1. So we have to also see with the pole that is minus 1 minus J1. So have you all completed this much portion? Students, are you still doing or completed?
Completed, sir.
Okay. So find out the angle of departure for the pole. We have found there, we have considered that it is minus 1 plus J1. Let me just take the another pole, that is minus 1 minus J1. So when you go for that, when you do the entire process, you can see that the angle of departure phi d for the previous was minus 45. So when you do for minus of minus 1 minus J1, when you take this as the pole, you can see that phi d dash, that is for this, it will be minus of phi d, and you have already 45 minus 45, so it will be 45 degree. So you got the angle of departure for both the poles, that is minus 45 degree and 45 degree. Then you have to go ahead plotting the entire root locus for that. So what is step 10 is to find the intersection point. So if you get 5D, you will get 5D dash as well. For the other pole, you will get it as 45 degree. So next step 10 is to find the intersection point. So this is what we are going to do of the root locus on the j omega axis and the range of k for closed loop stability. So we have to substitute S is equal to j omega and we get the characteristic equation. You have the characteristic equation which you have written already. So we have the characteristic equation here. We have the characteristic equation. Let me take you through that. So we have the characteristic equation here, s cube minus 3s. So that equation you can use it and substitute further and simplify it. So let us go there. So that is, when you substitute for s is equal to j omega, you will get omega omega cube minus 2j square omega square minus 2j omega plus k is equal to 0. This is which you have already done before. See, this is the equation. K is equal to minus s cube minus 2s square minus 2s. So this is the characteristic equation. So you can use that equation and substitute s is equal to j omega. So you need to take s is equal to j omega. So when you substitute in place of s j omega, you get it as j cube omega cube and 2j square omega square 2j omega plus k is equal to 0. It's just the substitution in the characteristic equation and then simplification of that. So when you take j cube omega cube plus 2j square omega square plus 2j omega plus k is equal to 0, so when you simplify this further, you can take the terms together, real term and imaginary terms. So I have, when I complete the solution for that, I get it as k minus 2 omega square plus j into 2 omega minus omega cube equal to 0. So this we have been doing it before for the previous problems as well. So the same steps where once we get k minus 2 omega square plus j into 2 omega minus omega cube is equal to 0. From this you can find out the value of k as well as the value of omega. So you can just find out the values of omega and k. So it is satisfied if the real and imaginary parts are 0. So I can take it as k minus 2 omega square is equal to 0 and as well as omega 2 omega minus omega cube is equal to 0, or omega I have taken it out, 2 minus omega square is equal to 0. So the value of omega as well as k I can find out here. So as you know that omega cannot be equal to 0, so omega not equal to 0, find out the value of k. And further you find out the value of omega. So you can just try this out and let us know that what is the value of k and omega you are going to obtain. So what we have done here is we have used the characteristic equation and we have substituted for s is equal to j omega, and after substitution of s is equal to j omega we have simplified it further and we have two terms, k minus 2 omega square plus j into 2 omega minus omega cube, that is equal to 0, and we equated to 0, and we got k minus 2 omega square is equal to 0, and omega into 2 omega square is equal to 0. So once you get this, simplify that for omega as well as for k. So what is the answer you will get for k? What is the value of omega and k you will obtain?
It's 4 and plus or minus root 2.
K is equal to 4 and omega is plus or minus 2. So omega is plus or minus 2 and k you will get it as 4. So all of you can complete that. So from this, when you get the value of omega plus or minus root 2, so when you get one of plus or minus root 2, so you need to, whatever values you have obtained, you have to plot it in the graph, and you have to try to plot the root locus for that. So let us substitute this, means whatever values we got, let us try to plot these values. We got the centroid, we got asymptotes, we got omega value, we have value of k, we have the poles, and we know that where the root locus is located. So with the help of all these things, let us go with the plot for root locus. So after finding out all these things, you can say that the closed loop stability of the system is mainly when the value of k lies between 0 and 4. So this condition you have to write it compulsory, okay. So you have to say that the closed loop stability is only when 0 less than k less than 4, and this is the condition on k for stability. So that is what you can say. So you can say that the system is stable or conditionally stable when the value of k is between 0 and 4. So we have found all the values of k and omega as well as all these values. Now we have to plot this uh, in the sheet, and you have to show that how the root locus mainly focuses upon the stability, okay. So you can you have all the values obtained here, so you can try to plot the poles, and you can try plot the root locus as well as going with the asymptotes, centroid, omega value, all those things you put it. And you have also found here one interesting different thing we have gone with this problem is we have found the angle of departure. So angle of departure also you have to make sure that you plot it in the graph properly. So let us just go through that. So all of you have completed any doubts still here? All of you have completed all these things? So have you all completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us move ahead with the plot. Almost 50% of the plot we have done by drawing the poles and asymptote, centroid, and all those things we have completed. Continuation of that, you can add the omega plus or minus root 2 as well as the angle of departure to that figure, and you can make sure that your root locus goes in parallel to the uh, asymptotes, okay. So you can just try that. So the figure will look like this. I'll reduce it off. So what you can see here, I have to plot the poles. See, I have plotted the poles. These are my poles. I have obtained the centroid value, that is minus 0.66. I have drawn the asymptotes, that is AS1, AS2 as well as AS3 at different angles, okay. So after doing that, what we have to also go ahead with, we have to plot this point, that is root 2, so minus j root 2 as well as so this is what you have to draw j root 2 as well as minus j root 2. So this is at the value of k is equal to 4. Once you plot all these points, then you have to consider the value, that is the angle of departure. So you need to consider the angle of departure, and then you have to plot the root locus. So you can see that I have drawn here. Then I got the values like 45 as well as minus 45. So where are these values obtained? So I have told you to just look into those things. So when I consider the pole to be minus j minus 1 plus j1, so this is when my pole is s is equal to minus 1 plus j1, I obtained that I got it as the value of that is minus 45 degrees. So when I have to, when I am plotting it, I have to use that. So minus 1 minus j1, I got the angle as 45 degrees. So that is what you have to see. So minus 1 minus j1, that will come here, and my angle is 45 degree, and minus 1 plus j1. So for that, when I plot it, my angle is minus 45 degrees. So you can see that you can draw one line there. Plus 45 means you have to take it above to that, minus 45 means you have to take below to that, and you have to start the root locus in this manner. And this root locus has to pass through this point, that is root 2j, and this will be going in parallel to the asymptotes. So that is very important, and what we have told, this root locus will meet the asymptotes in the at infinity. So that is how you have to go ahead with that. And if you see the down portion of it, you can see that this we are going with plus 45, so it will start from here, and then you have to pass on through this point, that is plus minus j root 2 at k is equal to 4, and then it has to go in parallel to the asymptote whichever is there available. Okay, one more thing what you have to observe here is, you have to observe here that when you take the real axis, that is the row, both sides it is symmetrical to each other. So it has to be symmetrical to each other when you take the real axis. So this is what the root locus you will get it. So you can make a plot of this root locus, and you should be very much careful while drawing it, each and every step. If you take the points properly, it will be easy for you to draw that. So you can complete the plot. Is that clear for everyone? You can complete this plot. So you should be careful while drawing this point, roots, and taking the angle of departure, and drawing the line, drawing through this point, and drawing parallel to the asymptotes. So complete it, then we can move on further. Now you can draw it fast. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes for you to complete this figure. So if you are drawing in a plain sheet, make sure that you take the points properly, like a certain distance properly. You don't make the things to be very much small. Just give some space to draw that, and the clarity of the figure should also be good enough to see. Okay, don't draw so small. So this is entire plot carried out in the S-plane. So have you all completed this figure? So complete it. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes time to understand each and every step. Each step has to be plotted properly in the sheet, and you have to mark all the points properly, and then you need to plot it. So all of you can complete that. So is that over? All of you have completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we will proceed with the next one. So you can just do this quickly. The root locus plot for the value of k ranging from 0 to infinity for a negative feedback control system. G of s h of s is given as k into s plus 6 divided by s into s plus 1 minus into s plus 2. Do this problem fast. K into s plus 6 divided by s into s plus 1 plus s plus 2. So you can try doing it. We are doing the fifth problem, so you can complete it step by step process faster. So we have done 5 to 6 problems now. So you understand that what are the things has to be done in this problem. So first you have to plot the poles and zeros of g of s h of s on the s plane. So do that, g of s h of s on the s plane. At the k is equal to 0, the points you will get it as what are the poles and zeros here. You will get it as s is equal to 0 -1, -2, and k is infinity, and the point s is equal to -6 you will get as 0. So you'll get the 0 as -6, poles you will get it as 0, -1 and -2. So you know the condition that the branch of the root locus always starts on a pole and ends on a 0. So that statement you can write it as step 3. You have to do that. The branch of the root locus starts on a pole and ends on a 0. So after that you can find out the number of branches. How many number of branches are required? It is the number of poles or number of zeros, whichever is greater. So here the number of poles is 3 and number of 0 is 1. So you know that 3 is greater than 1, and you say that the number of branches is 3. So you understood step 1, 2, 3 and 4. You can go with step number 5. So we understood that there are 3 poles and 1 0. We also understood that the branches of the root locus starts on a pole and ends on a 0. We also understand that the number of branches of the root locus is identified by seeing the number of poles and number of zeros, whichever is greater. So here the number of poles is greater than 0, so we took it as 3. The number of branches is 3. So a point on the real axis lie on the root locus if the number of singularities to the right of this point are odd. So you can write all this step one by one. After that you also know to do for step 6 and step 7, all those things you can keep continuing. So you can do that, this problem. I will discuss further. First you can complete all these things. Those who have completed, please move ahead with the rest of the steps. Okay. So have you all completed till step 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can proceed further and try
Yes, sir.
plotting it. So let us continue further. So we have got the we have the g of s h of s as k divided k into s plus 6 by s into s plus 1 plus s plus 2. We found the poles and we found the zeros. We found that the number of branches, the branch of the root locus should start on a pole and end on a 0, and we found that the number of branches is 3. because whichever is greater, pole or 0. And we also know that the real axis lies on the root locus if the singularities to the right of the point are odd. So those things we have already completed. Let me just proceed further. So when you do step this you can start plotting it when you have obtained the poles, and that is at 0, -1 and -2, and you got a 0 here at -6. Asymptotes we have not yet found. So once you complete it, you can plot that as well. So step 6 is number of asymptotes. How many number of asymptotes are there here?
2, sir.
2. What is the centroid?
1.5.
1.5. Find out the angles.
90 and 270, sir.
90 and 270. So you can just plot all those things. You can see here I have got the centroid as 1.5. I have plotted that. I have asymptotes, that is 2 asymptotes are there. So one is available at 90° that you can see. I have plotted dotted lines here, AS1, and next is towards 270°, that is also plotted, that is called as AS2. So this stepwise you can do it. This is just for your understanding. Let me move on further. So all these points you can plot it on the paper, on those paper, and you can complete it. Just I'll wait for a minute if anyone is yet to complete. So you should draw this poles and zeros and asymptotes, centroid, then you have to consider the angle. So the number of asymptotes is given as pole minus 0, that is 3 poles are there and 1 0 is there. Number of poles is 3 and number of 0 is 1. 3 minus 1, that is 2. Centroid. To calculate the centroid, you have the equation finite poles, summation of finite poles minus finite zeros divided by pole minus 0. We get it as 0. What are the poles here? 0, -1 and -2. So I have taken the summation of that 0, -1, -2, and -6 divided by 3 minus 1. I get it as 1.5. So you have two asymptotes here. So you know that you have to take q is equal to 0 and q is equal to 1. So for 0 you get it as 90°, and for 1 you get it as 270°. So seventh step is, as usual, you have to say that it is symmetrical to the real axis. So the root locus is always symmetrical with respect to the real axis. Now you have to find out the breakaway point and do the differentiation for that. So you need to find out the breakaway point. The system characteristic equation you have, take the characteristic equation and find out the breakaway point. 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. So we have to take 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0 and try to find out the breakaway point. Do it first. So the system characteristic equation is given by 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. Anyone of you have completed that, the characteristic equation? What is the characteristic equation? You get it?
1 minute.
Yeah, do it. So practice all these problems. So we have done different types of problems as well. So you get it as 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. What is that you are going to get further? So anyone of you got that equation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is that equation you got?
Minus 4s cube minus 27s square minus 40s minus 12 equals to 0.
Okay, I'll come to that. So we'll see that. You can proceed further. So we get 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. You write it as 1 plus k into s plus 6 divided by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. You simplify that, k is equal to minus of s cube plus 3s square minus plus 2s by s plus 6. So you have to find out the breakaway point. You have to take differentiation of that. That is dk by ds is equal to 0. You can make a note of these things. So you have to take dk by ds is equal to 0 and then simplify that further. So when you take dk by ds is equal to 0, what you will get, we'll see. So all of you have completed till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us take dk by ds is equal to 0. So when you do that, you get it as 2s cube plus 21s square plus 36s plus 12 is equal to 0. And you have to find out the roots. You get it as s is equal to minus 0.4429 minus 0 minus 8.455 and minus 1.602. So you have to see with respect to the poles and zeros whatever you have obtained. You can see that the roots s is equal to these two values, minus 8.455 and minus 1.6202 are not on the root locus. You can see that here. Those values will not come in the root locus. One value will come somewhere here, one value will come somewhere this side. So that's why you can say that these 2 points, minus 8.455 and minus 1.6, are not on the root locus, hence are not qualified for or not fit for breakaway point. So only what you have to, then you can find the value of k at these 2 points. At these 2 points, k you will get it as minus 165.73, and k you will get it as minus 0.0872. So what you understand here is k is negative. So you got the both the values negative. K is negative at s is equal to minus 8.455 and s is equal to minus 1.602. It further confirms that these 2 points are not the breakaway points. So one more is available, that is 0. Minus 0.4429. So let us take that the one breakaway point that is given here is s is equal to minus 0.4429, and the value for k at this breakaway point you can find out. That will come close to 0.069. So it's a positive value. So which states that the one breakaway point is s is equal to 0. Minus 0.4429. As normal case, you can write it as root locus is always symmetrical with respect to the real axis, and you need to find out the intersection points by substituting j omega. So all of you can substitute j omega and complete this. Take the characteristic equation, substitute j omega and find out the value of omega and k. When you complete that, you get it as k is equal to 2 and omega is plus or minus 2. Which you can say that the system is stable for 0 less than k less than 2, and otherwise it is conditionally stable. So I will stop it here. You can make a plot of this as well. So all of you can complete it and plot it. We have done quite a lot of problems. You will be able to do it. Okay. So that's all for today. We will wind up for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.